Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm back with another banger, and today I'm going to bring you 5 older flagships that you can still use and buy in 2024, because well, you can't really rely on these budget mid-range smartphones, well, because the build quality is poor, well, they don't have wireless charging, and you don't get the same flagship features as you do with old flagships, and they're just too expensive and underspent. Our budget for this video is going to be $300 or less, so yeah, that's it. That's $300 or less. These newer budget smartphones have that older flagships do not have is the longer software updates. Newer budget devices can go up to Android 14, 15, 16, maybe 17, and older flagships can only stay up to Android 12, 13, or if you're lucky, 14. Well, that's the only advantage of a newer budget smartphone. That's really it. Well, you can find a better camera on an older flagship, better build quality on an older flagship, and better somehow performance on an older flagship. Like, let's take the Galaxy A25 for example. Well, it has a plastic back, while the Galaxy S10 has a glass back, which, if you think about it, and also the A25 does not have wireless charging, which the S10 has wireless charging. Speaking about the Galaxy S10, is going to be the number one of this video, seeing that it is the best flagship device that you can still buy that is old. It has a 12 megapixel main camera, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a 16 megapixel telephoto lens, and it also has 10 megapixel selfie camera. It has an AMOLED display with a 1440p resolution, an 88.3% screen to body ratio, and Gorilla Glass 6 for screen protection, which you don't really see in these cheap budget smartphones. There's 128GB of storage or 256GB of storage, and for RAM it has 6 or 8GB of storage so that you can choose for yourself. And it has a 3400 mAh battery, which is another disadvantage when you compare it to a newer budget smartphone, because they always have a 5000 mAh battery. Yeah, and my smartphone, which is the Galaxy A05s, charges at 25 watts, which this phone charges at 10 watts, which is kind of disappointing. No, 18 watts, not 10 watts. Yeah, that was kind of misleading, but yeah, but that's still kind of low. You can get yourself the Galaxy S10 for $170 or less, depending on where you buy it. If you want a better camera, Google's AI features, and longer software updates, then opt in for the Google Pixel 6a, which is still good in 2024 in my opinion. There's a dual camera setup, being a 12 megapixel main and a 12 megapixel ultra wide, and for its selfie it has an 8 megapixel selfie camera with 128GB of storage and 6GB of RAM. 1080p OLED display, which is not bad, and a Google Tensor 5nm chipset, which they did not indicate what chipset it is. Why I said this is still good in 2024 is because it initially came with Android 12 out of the box, and you can still upgrade it to Android 15, which is kind of good. One more thing, it has a 4410 mAh battery with 18 watts charging, which it's not bad because the battery is small, hence the 18 watts charging. The third phone has similar qualities with the Google Pixel 6a, being longer software updates, and it's of the opposite operating system, which is iOS, being the iPhone 12. I've seen many creators use this phone as their daily driver for a very long time now. That's because it is still good in 2024. Even those creators that still use the iPhone 12 see that this phone is still good in 2024 because of its camera, software updates, and performance. It has a dual camera setup, being a 12 megapixel main camera and a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens, and also for selfie it has a 12 megapixel selfie cam and Face ID, which is kind of helpful and secure. It has 64, 128 or 256GB of storage and 4GB of RAM across all these storage models. But you know what they say, 4GB on Apple is 8GB on Android, which I don't know, man. I've never had an iPhone to prove that, but maybe one day I'll have an iPhone to prove that. Before I continue with the video, I just wanted to say that this video is sponsored by, wait, isn't the channel too small to sponsors? Well, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Well, I want you guys to help me grow this channel to a point where we can have sponsors and grow the channel further, so that I can make better content for you guys. iPhone 12 is an A14 Bionic chipset, which can do your daily tasks simply, and it can also game, which is spectacular. There's an OLED display, aluminum frames, and a glass back, which the build quality is kind of impressive for 2020. You can get this phone for $250 depending on where you buy it, and yeah, I can fully confirm that there's no budget smartphone with a built-in stylus just like the Galaxy S Ultra series, and yeah, for the same price that you can buy the Galaxy A25, you can get yourself the Galaxy Note 20. which is a built-in stylus as one of its unique features, which you cannot really see on these budget smartphones. For the camera, we have a 12 megapixel main camera, a 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and a 12 megapixel for the ultra wide. For storage, we have 256 gigabytes and 8 gigabytes of RAM, which you can't really have options for. You don't have a 128, a 64 gigabyte, or a 512. The Galaxy Note 20 runs on an Exynos 997nm chipset, or if you live in the United States, you can get the Galaxy Note 20 with a Snapdragon 845 chipset, which is also a 7nm chipset. If I were you, I would go for the Snapdragon version because people tend to say that Exynos is weaker than the Snapdragon chipset, so yeah. There's a Super AMOLED display with a 1080p resolution and Gorilla Glass 5 for screen protection, and yeah. And for software updates, it came with Android 10 out of the box, and you can upgrade it to Android 13, which is still usable in 2024. I mean, it's only 2 years behind, so yeah, I don't see the problem. You can get the Galaxy Note 20 for less than $240 depending on where you buy it, and on Amazon it's $232. Yeah. And last but definitely not least, we have the Galaxy S22, which has the same quality as the Google Pixel 6a and the iPhone 12 in terms of OS updates. The Galaxy S22 has a 50 megapixel main camera, a 10 megapixel telephoto lens, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide lens, and it has a 10 megapixel selfie camera. In terms of storage, you can get the Galaxy S22 with 256 gigabytes or 128 gigabytes, which I can fully recommend the Galaxy S22 with 256 gigabytes of storage because, well, it's going to be your daily driver, so you're going to need the more storage that you have. But for RAM, you're only stuck with 8 gigabytes. So the Galaxy S22 came with Android 12 out of the box, but you can upgrade it for 4 years, which is now on Android 14. It can go still to Android 16. Galaxy S22 has a dynamic AMOLED display with Gorilla Glass Victus Plus for screen protection, which you can find it very hard to crack or break. It has a 3700 mAh battery, but as you'd expect, it's way less than what you have on the cheaper budget smartphones. But no worries, it's no hassle because it has a better chipset than the budget smartphones, which it can run the battery very better than on the budget smartphones. You can get the Galaxy S22 for $200 depending on where you buy it. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's all for today's video, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I've enjoyed making this video for you guys. I'd very much appreciate it if you subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.